Episode 1 left us with a validated Ubuntu KVM host. Today we are creating its first guest, an Ubuntu 2404 LTS virtual machine built from a cloud image. We will use a copy-on-write disk, initialize the guest with cloud-init, attach it to libvirt's private network, and verify SSH, the QEMU guest agent, and a serial recovery console. The machine starts with 2 virtual CPU cores and 2 GB of memory, but we define safe headroom up to 4 of each, so Episode 3 can demonstrate a real resource change. Use a disposable lab or a reviewed change window, and never overwrite an existing domain just because a tutorial uses the same name. Start by connecting explicitly to the system libvirt service. The URI must be QEMU system. Then verify the default network is active and persistent. We need QEMU image tools, virt-install, and cloud local DS. Cloud local DS comes from Ubuntu's cloud-image-utils package, so install that package if the command is missing. Finally, list every existing domain before choosing the name demo Ubuntu 01. If that name already exists, stop and inspect it. This episode creates one named lab guest. It does not take ownership of a machine that was already there. Download the current Ubuntu Noble Server Cloud image into libvirt's image directory. Use a temporary download name and move it into place only after the transfer succeeds. For a production pipeline, pin and verify Ubuntu's published checksum rather than silently accepting a changing current image. Next, create a 24 GB QCOW2 overlay with the cloud image as its backing file. The overlay begins small and records only guest changes, so additional lab machines are quick to create. The trade-off is a dependency. Do not move, modify, or delete the backing image while an overlay still references it. QEMU image info should show both the virtual size and the exact backing path. cloud-init turns the generic image into our named guest. User data creates the demo administrator, locks password authentication, and adds an SSH public key. Paste only the contents of a .pub file. Never place a private key, password, or production credential in user data or a repository. The same file installs the QEMU guest agent and enables the serial getty on TTYS0. Metadata supplies a unique instance identifier and the host name. Cloud local DS combines those 2 files into a small no-cloud seed ISO. cloud-init normally processes that seed on first boot. Changing the instance identifier later can cause initialization modules to run again, so treat it as machine identity rather than decoration. Now define and start the domain with virt-install. Import tells virt-install that the cloud disk already contains an operating system. The guest starts with 2 virtual CPU cores and 2 GB of memory, while max vCPUs and max memory reserve headroom up to 4. Host model gives the nested guest a compatible processor view. The primary disk and private network both use Virtio. The seed is attached as read-only CD-ROM media. Graphics none keeps the server headless, while the serial console and guest agent channel provide 2 independent management paths. No auto console returns control to the shell, while cloud-init finishes. virt-install may warn that 2 GB is below Ubuntu's recommendation. It is adequate for this small validation guest, but size real workloads from measured demand. The domain can be running before initialization is finished. First list the guest and inspect its definition. While the QEMU agent package is still installing, query the address from the libvirt DHCP lease. Then connect as demo over SSH and run cloud-init status with wait. Do not treat a reachable port as proof that package installation and final commands completed. When cloud-init report's done, the guest agent service should be active and the serial getty should be enabled. Back on the host, the agent address query should now report the interface from inside Ubuntu. The lease address shown here is a lab example. Always query your own host. Before calling the build complete, prove the path you will need when SSH fails. TTY console returns the sudo terminal attached to the guest. VIRSH console with safe opens it without stealing another administrator's active session. Press enter if the login prompt is not visible, and use Control right bracket to disconnect. This console works independently of the guest IP address, but it still depends on a serial device in the domain and a serial getty inside Ubuntu. Both were configured before first boot, which is why recovery is a design decision rather than an emergency improvisation. Episode 3 changes resources, so verify the limits now. vCPU count should report 2 current and 4 maximum for both the live domain and its persistent configuration. The inactive XML should show 4 GB of maximum memory, 2 GB of current memory, and 4 maximum virtual CPUs with 2 active. These are not cosmetic values. A live CPU or memory increase cannot exceed the domain's maximum definition. Finally, enable auto start only after the guest has passed networking, agent, SSH, console, and resource checks. That gives us a reproducible machine that survives a host restart and is ready for management exercises. The first guest is ready. We created a space-efficient disk, initialized Ubuntu without a password, attached private networking, verified cloud-init and the guest agent, proved the serial recovery console, and confirmed resource headroom. Every command in the complete cloud-init files are linked in the companion guide and KVM lab repository. Keep demo Ubuntu 01 running. In episode 3, we will inventory it, export the persistent definition, increase CPU and memory, verify the change inside Ubuntu, and separate graceful lifecycle operations from commands that can interrupt service or delete data. Use the free VIRSH command builder to assemble and review the same workflow on your own host.